The crypto market is experiencing a lot of green days today as Bitcoin breaks above the previous resistance at $21,700 on Friday. Now Bitcoin is testing the price of $22,800 that we have never seen since September 13th, 2022. This is also true with other coins that have massive rally due to the new bullish movement at the start of the year. But we are also seeing some bearish news appear. Genesis has declared bankruptcy and will in some point needed to sell their asset to make creditors whole. Lyn Alden, the founder of Lyn Alden Investment Strategy, is sharing about her thoughts on what is the likely cause of the recent bullish move.
So Bitcoin is historically highly correlated with various liquidity indicators, right? So basically, how much capital is kind of available, liquid for investment. A lot of other investments they trade off things like earnings, they trade off all sorts of other things, whereas Bitcoin is actually one of the purest liquidity correlations that are out there. And ever since autumn of last year, liquidity conditions have actually been, in many cases, moving up or sideways a little bit. Basically, they declined all throughout 2022. When we got to the end of the year, the dollar index came off of its highs. You started to get Chinese reopening. You started to get, the market pricing in slower forward Fed hiking. Inflation was off of its highs. You had a drawdown in the Treasury General account. It's kind of jargon for some, but basically, there's a bunch of things that improve liquidity. And I actually think that Bitcoin probably would have bounced in Q4 if not for the whole FTX implosion. Because you started to see a bounce in a number of risk assets. We saw good movements in precious metals, including ones like silver, that are historically more cyclical. And so I think that basically this is kind of a pent up move from those overall better liquidity conditions. I think the somewhat concerning thing is that you're also seeing a bounce in like meme stocks
Mhm.
and unprofitable stocks this year. And so, I wouldn't be surprised to see some of this be given back or some of this, consolidate for a period of time. But essentially, I think that, liquidity, at least locally, reached its worst point last year and at least is kind of a mild, improvement.
This is a small clip of the interview that Paul Barron have with Lyn Alden. Go and follow his channel at Paul Barron Network since he posts very good videos relating to finance. Going on to the Genesis news. This is an article by CoinDesk managing editor Danny Nelson. Genesis has $5.1 billion in liability. Do note that only three of its entities, Genesis Holdco, Genesis Global Capital LLC, and Genesis Asia Pacific Pte. Ltd., filed for bankruptcy. So although DCG and its various subsidiaries are not in a good shape, it doesn't mean that it will go down. So only time will tell the extent of the damage Luna, 3AC, and FTX collapse has on DCG. Lastly, we will talk about the infamous Sam Bankman-Fried. This article is made by Jason Nelson, a reporter at The Crypt. SBF faces security threats at his parents' home. A black car allegedly crashed into the metal barricade of the property where three unknown men threatened, saying that, and I quote, "You won't be able to keep us out," before driving away. As we know, there is no shortage of people who has lost their money or held a grudge against SBF, and he knows it. Bankman-Fried's parents reportedly hired security costing around $10,000 per week. That is not cheap. SBF attorneys didn't stand still. Due to this attack and threatening letters against SBF's parents, the attorneys fought to keep the name of the bond co-signers private due to privacy and safety concerns. This might not be the desired effect we are hoping for, since many people wanted to know who else supported SBF other than his parents. If the attorneys manage to convince the judge to keep the name private, then I'm afraid we may never know. Anyways, that's all for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.